I am sorry I keep having connection issues. Um, like I said, it's not a choice. Sort of at this point. I'm pretty sure that the internet up at low income is going to be better than it is here. Um, However, I gotta stick around and wait for Amy Kingery and her boyfriend Josh to come back. Um, there's a few tools that I still need. My air compressor is pretty important. They got my saws all over there, which is good. I mean, they told me all those tools were gone and they sold the house. So the fact that they are there is fucking wonderful. Also, the fact that they are treating me like a human being. It's mostly Josh. Amy's still hurt, but she also understands that. Well, I wasn't the one who fucked over her kids. She knows about the conversations between me and Rihanna. She knows that I got fucked. Josh especially feels bad for that. Um, there's some of the things that they were dealing with. It's not that those things were untrue. It's that they didn't want the whole world to know about it. And I do understand that. But at the same time, the way that they had attacked me, and I'm going to start saying attacking now, because when I ask you to stop, you accuse me of attacking. When I use the term attack, I'm talking about physically. But you guys, basically anything you can twist and contort into that is what you're going to use. So we'll use your definition. When I say the right thing to do, I'm using your definition. According to your definition, according to Candace Bondurant's definition, and Lanny Engelein's definition, yeah, I should have killed these people, according to these people's opinions. Candace said, Sean, if they did that to me, I'd put a 45 right between their eyes. Of course, she was worried about Ted Bollinger and Tim Beeson. It didn't even occur to her that although I'd told her on multiple occasions, hey, you need to be wary of the police, she didn't think nothing of it. Now, obviously, I haven't restarted this because it gets annoying. Every time that I start this up and I have a connection issue, I get more frustrated, and that makes it so that it's more frustrating the next video that I make. I also don't believe in destroying evidence, so even though a lot of them are just fuck-ups that are sitting there with 2 minutes worth of recording, and I probably talked on them for 10 minutes, it's proof, it's evidence of things that I've said. And if the connection is not right, well, that's a reflection of the situation that I'm in and the environment that I'm in. This environment here, this is better. This horse trailer is better than literally every single place that I have been since Natalie died. Imagine that. You know what this place doesn't have? It doesn't have adults screaming at children for having fun. There's no Joshua Eichelberger screaming at 3-year-olds that they're fucking cunts at 11 o'clock in the morning because they woke him up. Tabitha Michelle Cook, one of our conversations here, she identifies, because I didn't say Josh's name. I kept that a secret. At least until I was able to get Miss Tabby safe from that situation. Because what I had to be afraid of at that point, since Tabby was still dating Josh, despite the fact that he had assaulted her daughter on the stairs while I was there. By the way, I didn't see that incident. If I had, I would have called the cops immediately, regardless of whether or not Tabby would be friends with me after that. Oh, damn. Yeah, I live in bumfuck Egypt, too. I live in Chapel, Nebraska. This is where Cabela's retail store started. It started in the back of a garage here. They were tying flies, and then they moved it to Cabela's furniture store, which is still owned by one of the Cabela's brothers. The one who wasn't involved in the tie flying, he owns their parents' furniture business in town. I've met all of the Cabela's, including Jessica, who's their granddaughter. When I knew her, she had dreads. She's a pretty cool lady, though. There is a sign at the other end of town that says like 960 people live here. There's less than 500 people living here now. You know, Ashley, you and me are both the same when it comes to that. I'm not a father. At the same time, I can't imagine myself fucking a kid, let alone if it was my own kid. I mean, I could see myself having sex with someone. I have to really care about that person to be willing to do something so fucking gross. Now, as far as rape goes, if you have sex with a woman while she's drunk, it is legally rape. When I was in Rawlins, Wyoming, I knew that Rayanna was drunk. She was drunk all the time. There was not a moment in time while I was there that she was sober. So I knew she was drunk. Now, I remember how Jamie Curtis treated me when she felt like she had been turned down. She told me that I was the only guy who has ever turned her down. Imagine that. Now, there's lots of people that I've turned down. No, I'm not going to date you if you're on heroin. I'm not going to date you if you're an alcoholic. I'm not going to date you if you're on opiates, even if it's for pain. No, we're not going to have that. But I remember how Lana treated me when I didn't have sex with her. I remember how Crystal Bocomp treated me when I wouldn't have sex with her. Lana's just gross. That has nothing to do with her looks. It has nothing to do with her size. It has to do with her mentality. No, I'm not going to have sex with Lana. But the way that Lana and Janie and Crystal Bocomp treated me when I didn't have sex with them, they turned into the most evil creatures. Like, holy shit. You'd think that they would be glad that I didn't try taking advantage of them while they were drunk. Now, when I was in Rawlins, Wyoming, and Rayanna's drunk as shit, and she wants to cuddle, and I'm getting to sleep. I mean, you know, a human doesn't really feel that much different from a dog. And I don't mean literally physically. I mean, I get that dogs are furry and people are less furry, but it's the warmth and the comfort. And she was telling me how sad she was that she missed her sons, and how she doesn't want to get into a relationship, how me and her are just friends, and she doesn't want to have sex. And then she'd start, how do I explain it? Massaging my crotch with her backside. So I'm thinking of grannies and cheese graters. I mean, just because I don't like sex doesn't mean that I don't get physically aroused by physical stimulation, especially there. So every time that she would try to work me up, and she was, it's pretty blatantly obvious that she was trying to work me up into a hard on, and I kept on thinking grannies and cheese graters until it went away. Finally, she got fed up with me not getting the hint, and she reached back and grabbed my penis. And I was like, oh my God, I am not going to have sex with her. Then I remembered Crystal Bocomp. And I remembered Jamie Curtis. And I remembered Lanny Engeline. And I went, holy shit. I have to fuck her. Not have to have sex with her. Train! But the other thing is that her mouth and her actions were not matching up. Normally, I would go with someone's mouth. No, I don't want to have sex. That's fine. I wasn't trying to have sex with you. But when a woman reaches back and grabs a hold of your penis, that's a different story. Now, I was afraid of her treating me the way that these other women had treated me when they were turned down, so I had sex with Rihanna. And then she pissed all over me. And Amy Kingery's daughters, well, we thought they were asleep, but they weren't. But they were watching us, and they told us, "Oh, it's all right. We've seen Josh and Amy have sex all the time." Oh my God, that is not what I wanted to hear. First of all, I don't want to hear about you guys watching us. I certainly don't want to hear about you watching your parents. Just so you know, though, I've had sex twice. The first one, she was fucked up on mushrooms, but I didn't know it at the time. If I had known, it would have been rape. In Rawlins, Wyoming, me having sex with Rihanna, it doesn't matter. Legally, it doesn't matter if she wanted it. It doesn't matter if she reached back and grabbed a hold of my dick. She was too drunk to consent. So in Rawlins, Wyoming, if Rand Ingersoll wants to charge me with rape, I'll plead guilty to it. Cabela's is closed down. They were sold to Bass Pro, and Bass Pro fucking closed everything down. Now, before I had sex with Rihanna, I downed on a lot of people for having drunk sex. You know, that's one of the good things about Ken Wilson. There are times when him and Leah are sober. Leah likes sex a lot. Ken won't have sex. Ken will not have sex with her if she's drunk or on drugs. That's a good man. Now that situation in Wyoming, I'm worried about risk. What? Alcoholism and how it's affecting everyone there. I'm worried about the fact that she's the one in control because she owns everything. She owns the camper. She owns the only legal running vehicle. It's her name on the lease at the RV park. The problem is that I was stranded in Rawlins, Wyoming at that point, and I had to worry about Amy Spencer's kids. What's going to happen to them if I'm not there to protect them from Rihanna? And yeah, the conversation with Rihanna, she admits that it was her fault. She admits that I didn't break that shit in the fucking Tiger Mark there. She admits that it was because she was drunk. Josh knows that. Amy knows that. Females are shady. So are males. Shadiness is not specific to a gender. How we are taught is very specific to a gender. We teach girls entirely different than we teach boys. Now, here's the biggest point: your words versus your actions. My words fit my actions. My words fit my actions until harm against me forced me to do desperate things. when these police were telling me that none of these things that these people were doing to me was illegal. I'm like, watch me. Oh shit, it is illegal. Oh my God. That's fine. I already knew that. I broke the law knowing it was against the law. I broke the law to prove that you guys are a bunch of lying sacks of shit who should have fucking investigated it to begin with. Now, type here in the corner. Is it illegal to assault a shit, you don't even have to type mentally. A disabled person? Well, since I'm in Nebraska, that's one. Let's see. Oh, hate crimes against people with disabilities. That's a good one. Let's see. In Nebraska, if a person commits certain crimes against someone or his property because of his disability or because he is associated with a person with a disability, it is punishable one penalty class higher than the penalty for the underlying offense, unless it is already a Class IB felony or higher. Is it a oh, can you go to jail for hitting a disabled person? If charged as a felony, you could be sentenced to up to 4 years in prison and fined up to $6,000. The following additional penalties may apply: 3 to 5 years in prison if great bodily injury is caused, 5 to 7 years in prison if the victim dies from the abuse. So why isn't anybody from Clearview in prison over the 2 people that they murdered, doing the very same things that you guys wanted to pretend I was lying about when they happened to me just prior? Let's see. Can you report verbal abuse to police? Threats, verbal abuse, and assault are crimes. You can report this to us using our online crime reporting service. So the things that these people were doing to me that I told you were illegal and you wanted to argue and the cops wanted to tell me were legal, yeah, they're illegal. I already knew they were illegal. I also know that I am never going to have an honest chance at a decent life ever again. These laws need to change so that what happened to me doesn't happen to others. These laws need to change so things that happen to Desiree don't happen to others. The things that happen to Natalie don't happen to others. The things that happen to Alicia don't happen to others. Here in the United States, we created our problems. We want to talk about how bad alcohol is while pushing it at every social event. We want to talk about how rape is wrong. Meanwhile, we live in a rape society. There are more women who support this rape society than men. How gross is that? How many women do you know that have gone back to their abusers repeatedly? How many of you? How many times have you rescued a woman because she was fucking scared for her life? And you go and you rescue her because she was scared for her life. 2 weeks later, she's back with the dude. She's telling a different story, and you're now the bad guy. Most of the women and men, it wasn't just women, but most of the women and men that I helped to move were grateful. Most of them. And many of them did that 3 or more times. Yes, I forgive too easily. But I'm not going to forgive you if you show no remorse. If there is no repentance in your voice or your actions. Obviously, Amy Kalina Kingery lied, but I've forgiven her. Why did I forgive her? She talks to me like a human being. She took at least steps enough to find out. She at least, well, I don't know if she did in specific or if it was Josh. I'm pretty sure Josh was the one that was listening to the videos between me and Rihanna. And that's probably why he's so goddamn friendly right now. I'm glad for that. Did Amy admit that she was wrong? No, she doesn't fucking have to. Shit. If Natalie and Alicia had done what Amy did, this could have all been over with a long time ago. Just pretend I'm a human being. And I say pretend because most of y'all hate me because I'm different. You're scared of me because I'm different. And you hate what you're afraid of. So why don't you get to know me? Why don't you come talk some shit with me? Play some video games with me. Smoke a fatty of some indica with me. Well, I wouldn't actually recommend that last part. I'm in Chapel, Nebraska. Marijuana is still illegal here. We are probably going to pass medical marijuana as soon as, well, if we get to vote. You know what's fucked up? When I got this thing on and I'm trying to go through that video, I keep having connection problems. On this video, I think I've gone 22 minutes or 20 minutes at least without having a connection issue. How odd. Now, there's a lot more to it. There's the stuff that Natalie's mom was pulling. There's the stuff that... Now, mind you, when I tell you that I had to go to addicts for help, there are a lot of people that I know that aren't addicts. They have good families, and some of them used to do a lot of drugs, but they don't because they had family support. Not family shaming, not family blaming, not family abuse, but actual family support to get off of those things. Those people wouldn't help me because they've never been in such a fucked up situation. They've never been homeless. They can't even fathom what it's like to be homeless. Somebody named Gregory Largent called me a creeper. That's cute. I get a lot of that shit. I'm used to it. Let's see about gang stalking. Is gang stalking illegal? We already know the answer to this. Although stalking is illegal in most areas of the world, some of the actions that contribute to stalking may be legal, such as gathering information, calling someone on the phone, texting, sending gifts, emailing, or instant messaging. All right. Here's one that fits perfectly in this specific situation because it does involve human trafficking and it does involve gang stalking. So we'll read this. Be aware of human trafficking and gang stalking. Well, I gotta get out of the way. Rose A. Buchanan. I came to the Garden Island newspaper to inform people of my situation that I am in so as to help me and others. It's called human trafficking and or gang stalking. It's a billion-dollar industry that targets people for various reasons, mostly for criminals to make money off your life in any way they can. Everyone always asks, who are they? If I knew exactly who they are, I'd be able to get a restraining order. No, actually, you couldn't. They could call you mentally ill and refuse to look at any of it. I know that because I know who they are in my situation, and I still can't get a restraining order. I've already filled out the paperwork here in Chapel, Nebraska, about at least two individuals, one of them being Ted Bollinger. They never did a goddamn thing with it. People are like, well, why don't you just go get a restraining order? I've tried. I've been trying since before Natalie was killed. Let's see. They do the harassment and targeting with many people, which is why it's called gang stalking. There has been a brief story on a news station a few years ago about it. Nothing is being done to fix it. When a victim tries to get help, they have their people, as in police, agents, lawyers, judges, etc. It is another form of organized crime with a twist of terrorism. Gee, organized stalking is plus. You notice that they're talking about it being a billion-dollar industry, that it's many people who take part in it, including who? Police, agents, lawyers, judges, etc. These are the criminals they're talking about. The criminals make the victim look like they're crazy, on drugs, paranoid, or anything they can so you won't believe them or help them. That's how they are a billion-dollar industry. Excellent at deception and at making the victim look guilty. I know in my personal situation, they have lied to make me look like a pedophile. They have lied to make me look like a pedophile, thief, abuser, hater, etc. So people will be nasty and ignorant and at times violent toward. Holy shit! Is this not what I've been explaining? To a T! And at times violent towards me. Then they tell people it is me that is bad or have bad karma. I have excellent karma, or I wouldn't keep rising above the terroristic cultist tactics being used against me. They have destroyed my career of 17 years operating heavy equipment, destroyed my 18 years partnership with my friend and wife. Gang stalking destroys people's personal relationships. Let's go back a bit because we're actually actual laws, not just. I'm gonna click over here to see if my live stream is still going because I can't see my live stream when I'm looking at another tab. Home not worth going back to because of abusive family. See, that's where I was with my family well before Natalie was killed, over a decade before Natalie was killed. They wouldn't stop abusing me. They chose their drugs over their own kids. That's not my decision. People keep saying all these things are my choice, my choice, my choice. I chose it. I chose it. I chose it. I didn't choose the abuse. I didn't choose to be raped. I didn't choose to be dropped off like I was a fucking dog at the pound. I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask to get beaten up in the system because I was one of the few white people in there. I didn't ask for the racism towards me. I didn't ask for Natalie to be suicidal. I didn't ask for her mother to be a fucking nut job. I didn't choose for the police to not do their jobs. I didn't choose for the police to blow me off and blow me off and blow me off every time I went in calmly. Every time I talked to my friends calmly, they did the same thing. Everyone did the same thing. If I'm not freaking out, unstable connection. Come on. Fuck it.